What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about using vintage lenses on the Canon R or RP cameras and soon to be the R5 and R6. So let's jump into using Canon's FD vintage lenses. Let's go. These vintage lenses just won't attach to the Canon R. You have to buy a lens adapter. From my knowledge, all manual focus. They're used on film cameras, and these lenses are honestly built like tanks. Each different FD lens has its own little unique kind of look to it, and they're very different in my opinion. The build quality on these lenses, honestly, they're built like absolute tanks. It feels like you could literally drop it on the ground and it'll just keep working. It's mostly made out of metal and a little bit of plastic. They also do have clickable aperture rings, so you're not going to control the aperture on the lens through your camera. You're going to control it using a little ring on the actual lens itself. The adapter that you have to adapt the FD lens to the Canon R body, yes, it's not the same adapter. You can't just use the RF to EF adapter because that's not going to work. So you have to buy a separate adapter for that. And in Toronto, it's extremely hard to find. I just can't walk into like a random camera store because they didn't have it. So I had to go on Amazon. I will link it down below. It also does have a locking feature, so you can put the lens on the adapter and then lock it so it's not going to fall off, even though I don't know why it would fall off. Maybe if you were using lenses that don't really snap into place, so that would help. The lens adapter is metal. It's not made of plastic. It doesn't really feel too cheap in my opinion, and it's pretty solid. The one thing I do wish that was changed on the adapter is I wish the red dots where you have to line up to actually attach the adapter was on the outside and not on the inside of the adapter, because it kind of gives off a weird, like you have to be perfectly symmetrical, I guess, with the adapter to make it attach properly, and I feel like it takes a lot longer to actually like line it up precisely instead of just having it on the outside so you know exactly where it is. We're going to talk about focusing now, and since these are vintage lenses, they don't have autofocus, and if you do want to get sharp, tack sharp focus, then in my personal opinion, the best option and what I personally use is focus peaking, is where a color goes over your image. It tells you essentially what is in focus. So when you do use this, your images are going to be tack sharp, and that's just the best option in my personal opinion. The price of the adapter was $30 Canadian or about $25 US. I did get it from Amazon like I did mention before. And the price on the lens, it definitely varies. For me personally, I got 6 lenses for free because somebody wanted to throw them away and they gave them to my brother, which he gave them to me. He's just like, here, maybe you could use these, maybe you can't. I know you shoot Canon, so here you go. And I was honestly like, all right, I'm gonna use them as like a decoration, paperweight, whatever you wanna call it. And then I'm like, I wonder if I can attach it to my current camera. And the answer was yes. Maybe $80 to $100, $200 for certain lenses. I personally got a whole bunch of lenses for free, and I honestly think these are absolutely amazing. Since I've been using these lenses, I personally love using these lenses in a time with face autofocus, eye autofocus. It's just been such like a disconnect with taking images. You just like hold the shutter button down, it's going to be in focus, you just take the photo, move on, whatever. In my personal opinion, that having to manually focus the lens and you get that tack sharp image, I personally feel that you're working a little bit harder and it just makes that image that much better. When you're looking back at certain images, that yes, if you use autofocus, it's cool, whatever, but when you manually focus it, you just have that much more of a story behind it. All right, so these are my final thoughts. For the price of the adapter being $30 or $25 US, I honestly think that everybody should pick this adapter up and try to pick up some sort of vintage lens. Maybe you get one for free, or maybe you spend like $40-50 on one. It's gonna give your images a different vibe, and it's completely different look than, you know, a standard lens like I'm filming on right now. It's too perfect. In my opinion, I like the little flawed looks. Maybe it has like a very weird distortion. It slows your workflow down. Like, yes, you might not use this in a professional setting, but you might just, you know, go out with some friends, have some fun, learn something, and you actually might learn a thing or two from these manual lenses, and you might have a whole new respect for photography. And with that being said, it's definitely super cheap, so you're not going to lose much, and you might find a focal range that you personally might like, or you might fall into a deep love with these vintage lenses. Maybe that's all you are going to want to shoot with from now on. Who knows? That's just my outlook on these vintage lenses. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until the next video, peace.